We got some news to get into today. We're talking bonus events for Delves. We're also talking how gearing out in 12.0.7 is just getting buffed out the ass. We're going to talk a little bit about some of that stuff and why I was right just the other day when I said there's a lot of gold spending going on in this game right now. Let's just jump straight in. Here we go. It's time once again, the bonus rewards event for Delves. The weekly bonus event is back once again since last reset. That means you're getting, again, 25% increase in Delve journey gain, 25% increase in seasonal champion, or companion, I should say, experience gains for Valera Sanguinar, and 25% increase in undercoin gains. Yes, so Delvers and, solo players around the world, rejoice once again. It's a good time to be a Delver. There's also a call to the Delves adventure in the Adventure Journal. You can go collect that also in Silvermoon. That's your weekly quest. Get yourself a cache of treasures. That's right. 246 champion level track gear can be gotten from that. A lot of us are beyond champion level gear, but hey, just the other day, someone was messaging me on YouTube saying, hey, how do I get into LFR? What do I need to do? So there's still people out there progressing through the game. So this is a good way to do it for sure if you're not already at a higher item level. Buying champion gear with Voidlight Marl for all of your alts is also becoming possible. So this is something right now that's really good for trading off to your alts. This will be tradable gear, champion level gear, that you can use 750 Voidlight Marl to purchase. So by doing this, you'll go up to Agrima, who is located outside the portal to the Timeways. They are selling the Quel'Thalas equipped chest for 250 Voidlight Marl. This cash can be bought and traded to your alts, awarding them champion 1 of 6 loot. So there you go, another way to gear out some of your alts for those of you who want to do it. Cool, I've been hearing a bunch about alts 240 to 245. Yeah, I mean, people are gearing out. People are gearing out right now, and it's definitely becoming easier and easier. And here's another way to do it. Take a cash, trade it to your alts who you want to get some champions gear. Moving on to this one, prepare to face Rotmire, guys. In 12.0.7, we know we're getting a new raid with a new single boss to deal with, and it's a little bit different than any single boss raid we've gotten before. I've already beat this drum to death, but we already know, yeah, Mythic Flex raid is coming. Real exciting for anyone who does Mythic raiding. Supposedly, by the way, that Mythic Flex raid is going to be like a guild lockout, which means like even if you took 15, to 25 people, you can kind of switch it out. It's going to lock out. I don't know how that's going to work. I think Blizz just get rid of lockout in general on Mythic raid at this point. But hey, whatever. We're getting Flex Mythic ratings, so that's great for those people. It's also going to be available, of course, on Raid Finder, Normal, Heroic. And one thing about this shit is it's going to be dropping a different set of gear for us. It's called Sporefall gear, and essentially what Sporefall gear is it's infused with first of all, they all have like an active mechanic on them, which is great, and they're all also dropping at an item level that is the highest of the current tracks that exist in the game without upgradability, which means yes, you're going to be getting 298 gear from Mythic Raid on here. So that means fully capped out, no upgraded needing, and it's giving you these different armor types with different, set bonuses, you can call them, or whatever you want. What do they call them? Cantrip items, kind of, right? So here we go. Spore-fused armor pieces. These are Rotmire's loot is increased, as I said before, as spore-fused armor for every armor type. We have necks, trinkets, and rings dropping from this guy. For the neck, we have Rotmire's Spore Heart. Your healing has a chance to spawn protective toadstools that absorb damage up to 12 seconds. If destroyed, they burst, dealing nature damage to all nearby enemies. Then we have the trinket, the Spore Lord's Mycelium Insignia. Your spells and abilities have a chance to nourish the mycelium, granting a random secondary stat and leech for 12 seconds. And then we have the Spore Caller's Blooming Loop as a ring here. Dealing nature damage has a chance to inflict Rot Bloom, dealing nature damage over 15 seconds. If the enemy is already afflicted with Rot Bloom, the effect is consumed to deal 120% of the remaining damage. So a lot of these items are going to be best in slot for sure. We're going to talking about people chasing this shit down. Also, just strictly the item level alone is crazy high. Like I said, they're capped out on everything. So even Raid Finder, you're getting 259 gear from Raid Finder, fully capped out. I mean, that's pretty good for a lot of people still. And then another way, obviously, to gear out alts real quick, running this thing on Raid Finder, 259, not bad at all. So yeah, it's a bit of a different raid. We also have some really cool stuff coming with this thing. We have the Luminous Rot Shroom, which is housing decor for any of you housing decor whores out there. Luminous, the Luminous Spore Glider mount, which is going to be an interesting one to get. You're going to have to actually stack some shit up to get this one. And then the Spore Fused gear, as I just mentioned before. For this mount, which is actually a cool looking mount. It's an iteration on the Dragonhawk, which kind of looks cool for that form. This mount is earned by collecting 4 delicious spore snacks, which you earn once per week per account by defeating Rotmire and Sporefall in any difficulty. So everybody will be able to get this, but it's kind of time gated. You're going to have to kill this boss 4 times, so once per week, 4 weeks in total to finally get this thing. But like I said, it's actually one of the cooler Dragonhawk, reskins that I've seen. So people will be going for this one for sure. The Red Cap toy, or the Madcap Rave Cap. Jesus, I can't read this. I'm going dyslexic. That's how crazy this toy's name is. Okay, we're just going to call it the Mushroom Toy. This thing is pretty cool. It basically allows you to drop this little toy here, and it will transform everybody around it for 1 hour, for 20 minutes, I should say, into red mushrooms. That's right. You'll be turning into these red mushroom boys. This thing persists through combat, I guess. It's got a 1 hour cooldown on it. So yeah, it's a pretty cool toy that I think a lot of people want to get, turning all of their friends into mushroom tips. That's right. Yeah, take that as you want. And then Luminous Rotshroom, as I mentioned before, a decor item. I don't know what this is. Spore Jizz? I have no idea. But yeah, you want a sporey looking thing in your home. It's a lamp or something. Yeah, sure, go for it. Plenty of decor items in this game. Also happening in 12.0.7, ritual sites becoming worth running again. That's right, we already know this. Tier 6 will have a recommended item level of 274, and you have to have 6 challenges active to be able to run these things. But the crazy thing about them is they give Myth Track crests. So Myth Track crests, 5 of them to be exact, without a cap anymore. And these things aren't capped like Delves. Like Delves have a natural cap on them. You can only get 20 per week. These things are completely uncapped, and now we have an uncapped back end too, right? The cap for crests has been removed, so which means you will be able to run these things non-stop to gather up your Myth Track crests. You could just completely no-brain challenge run these things non-stop and get yourself as many Myth Track crests as you'd like. They still give 269. Blizzard loves that 69 there, so they're still holding at 269 hero gear. The same thing that a tier 5 ritual site gives you, that's what a tier 6 will give you in your Great Vault. So not a big change there, but here's another big change that's happening. We're getting this quest that will be able to give you nebulous void cores every week. So running 2 of these will complete the quest every single week. We're talking 6 weeks of this quest, giving you a nebulous void core every single week. So this is pretty good. A nice source of nebulous void cores, a nice source of bonus rolls and everything. So if you're lacking on bonus rolls, you feel like you need, hey, go run 2 ritual sites real quick every week for 6 weeks, and you're going to gather a bunch of those. So Blizzard definitely making sure that this content remains kind of viable and useful to a lot of people. And then there's for the achievement hoes out there, a pinnacle ritual work, a big achievement here that people can get. Also, a feat of strength given to anybody who completes a tier 6 ritual site with all of the challenges things active. So running this will give you through the looking glass. And Horrific Visions will kind of count as a bonus there. So that's pretty good for anybody who actually wants to get that thing done. And then Heroic World Tier. I talked about this yesterday. Myth Track gear being awarded via a quest for completing Heroic World Tier. The first time ever in WoW history that Myth Track gear will be able to be gotten from open world content. Now, in terms of whether these things are actually going to be worth it to do, outside of that Myth Track gear, I don't know. Blizzard's increased the amount of rewards coming from these things. I think they're hearing from the community a lot that, is it really worth it to do Hero Track World Tier shit? Well, right now for the rewards, they're increasing the amount of field accolades you're going to get. They're also increasing the Champion's Dawn Crest, but the rares still drop champion level gear. You still have no increase in Void Light Marl coming from this stuff. So for the most part, I mean, you're going to be getting some Champion Dawn Crests and Champion gear. What this really still sounds like to me is like an alt farm. People are going to be using this shit to just gear out their alts for the most part. If Blizzard really wants to make this something that people actually go out and try to do, maybe give Myth Track crests, kind of like you're doing with ritual sites, or at least heroic crests, because then you can at least upgrade those to Myth Track crests. I think a lot of people right now are playing in the hero track for the most part. A lot of people capping out on that and moving into myth for the on that side. I just think if you're going to do champion level gear, that should be just the regular version of these worlds. And then if you're going to go hero tier of these worlds, you got to get hero track shit. That's, to me, the only way that these become something that people actually go out and do beyond just completing that quest that's going to give you that Myth Track piece of gear. What's up, Tech Tim? So Blizzard's still iterating on this. We'll see if they continue to change it. They're at least listening to feedback on that. And then finally, something that people called me crazy for just yesterday when I was talking about this. People saying, Sam, no, what are you talking about? The game is not more expensive. You're just not doing professions. That's why you have no gold. Well, looking at this shit, it turns out, yes, repair bills have, in fact, gone up quite a bit in Midnight. That's right, Samiccus, you know, just right again. It's just what I do. I don't like to brag, though. As a man of the people, I just remain humble. But here's the thing, guys. Right now, repair bills obviously are higher than they've ever been. That's not a shocking statement. Repair bills go up constantly in this game as we iterate and, you know, gear out and do all the shit that we do every single expansion. But right now, the real problem is the gear is advancing at such a fast rate, and the higher the item level, the more the repair bill costs. If you don't know how repair bills work, it's essentially you lose 10% durability on all of your armor every time you die. Now, as a tank or somebody who takes a lot of hits, you can also lose durability for every hit that you take. There's like a 1% drop-off here or there, not for every single hit, but after a couple hits. There's no exact formula for it that we know. But we do know that you can lose durability just from getting hit without dying. I never die and I still lose durability. It's what happens, right? But right now, we're talking about, if you look at these runs, okay, somebody who loses 10% durability, that's about 250 gold across the board to repair that durability loss. When you're looking at Lura, a fight where you see about 68% of the wipes happening in Phase 1. I mean, this is a guild's runs right here. Every single one of their deaths, except for a few where they got to Phase 2, seem to be happening in Phase 1 or the phase just between, the intermission phase between 1 and 2. We're looking right here. We got 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 31, 37, 40. Oh, man, I'm doing live math. 43. 43 deaths in total. 43 deaths in total. You want to multiply that shit? We want to do some real math here. Let's see. 43 times 250 gold per death. You just spent 10.7k. Almost 11k gold just on repairs for getting in there and basically doing nothing on Lura, right? Basically just eating shit on Lura for a couple hours. That costed you 10.7k gold. Now, one thing that's happening too that a lot of people are noticing is because of these Ascendant Void Cores and the gear advancing the way it is, everybody's gearing out pretty hard right now. A lot of people are entering Myth Track for the first time as well, so that's happening. The higher the item level, the more the repair is going to cost. Right now, the way this works is the higher item levels are costing more repairs, which means you're losing more per death, which means everything's costing more on top of that. Myth Track gear costs more than Heroic Track gear to repair. And then we're also talking about weapons and things. Everyone's got a big dick weapon they're gearing out as well, especially if you've crafted it. That's your highest item level piece of gear. Weapons are also the most expensive piece of gear to repair, which really hurts people like Demon Hunters or Fury Warriors who are kind of holding the big dick two-handed weapons, because those actually have even more armor on them that can be lost. So you're talking about massive repair bills for those guys. And then, as I mentioned before, Ascendant Void Cores upgrading items to higher item levels, making those more expensive to repair. Now, the audacity of Sam talking about repair costs. I know, right? We raid a lot on this stream, and yes, we do wipe from time to time. Now, I survive at all times. We know that. But basically what's going on here is we got a shit ton of repairs, really high item levels, and just it costing a lot for a lot of people to raid right now. So you cost us about 10.7k per raid, correct? Yeah, basically. I mean, look, we are at the current point where we are progressing on Heroic Lura as a pug, right? We're forming up a pug, and we're just trying to kill that bitch. And we are dying a lot in Phase 1. And it doesn't matter if you die in Phase 1 or Phase 3. For the most part, you're paying the same amount every single time you die. So yes, repair bills have gone up quite a bit. It's not a hallucination to say that Midnight is costing more than any other expansion previously. That is true, as is for all expansions. But I think it's the gear progression and these nebulous void cores, ascendant void cores, and everything else that's going on in the game right now that's really pushing the item level up higher and faster than usual. That's leading to these higher repair bills. We'll see what happens going forward. I know you can do a bunch of fucking, profession shit and everything to even this out. But really, I mean, it behooves WoW and Blizzard in general to allow this shit to happen. Because, hey, you can always buy a WoW token, right? All right, we'll leave it on that. But yeah, that's definitely, something that helps the market for sure when it comes to Blizzard. We'll keep looking at this shit as we go forward. We'll keep track of all this other stuff. Hey, 12.0.7 looks like it's bringing some cool ways to gear out too. We'll see what happens going forward. But for today, that is all. in terms of news.